Thank you. All right, are we ready? Am I ready? Are you ready? Happy Corvette Museum anniversary 2022. Thanks for everybody to be here. It's good to see everybody in real life. Like we were at Carlisle last week and here and earlier this year with the Bash. It's really great to be able to be in these events again and see everybody's smiling faces. So, if you don't know me, I'm Harlan Charles, Corvette Product Manager. I'm going to go over some things that's going on with Corvette, a lot about the Z06 and some information. Some you may already know, so hopefully some's new. But you know, 8 generations of Corvette, 70 years of Corvette, and the newest thing now, if you've seen the 2023 Corvette Z06. How many people have been looking at our cars back there? Good. I was hoping that would be unanimous. So let's just brag time. It's always good to brag about all our awards that we've been winning. We got 3 in a row, Car and Driver 10 Best with the 8th generation Corvette. And we were also their editor's choice, of course. Ferrari moves and incandescent performance with Chevrolet price makes the Corvette a hugely desirable sports car. Then Motor Trend ranked us #1 in the best premium sport coupes. You see there, #1 above Porsche, Supra, Porsche, Jaguar. And then even things, you know, best resale value. You know who you are. It's easy to say. They're worth more used than new. How could you not have the best resale value? We're turning into Ferrari. And then U.S. News and World Report ranked us the best luxury sports car for 2022. So even the mainstream magazines and media. And so this is one we're really proud of. Last year, we won the J.D. Power Quality in our class and J.D. Power Appeal for 21. And that's really a good, because initial quality is the fewest things gone wrong. Appeal is the most things gone right. So that was great, but even better for 22, we were ranked #1 overall model in new vehicle quality in the industry. So that means Corvette is #1 over so all your friends, if they're driving a Porsche or a Mercedes or a Lexus or anything, you can tell them they can have a lot more fun driving a Corvette. They can upgrade their performance, upgrade their life, and upgrade their quality by buying American. Right. And you can beat them on the track, too. Also, some of the other ones, even around the world. Japan Car of the Year. How about that? Corvette wins the Japan Car of the Year. Now we're right-hand drive. In the UK, Auto Car, a big magazine over there, said it's their best dream car for 2022. And so a lot of awards this year. That J.D. Power one is really near and dear to our hearts, you know. And for years they were telling us, to win J.D. Power, you have to make like a simple car with no options and make it one way and restrict everything. What do? We make the most complicated option and personalized car in the world, and we're still #1. So this is some of the stats, the final for 2022. A little bit on coupe and convertible, 48% convertibles. It's the highest percent Corvette convertible since 1969. People love that retractable hardtop design, which enables, you know, your storage for everything. It looks great, top up and down. It just solves so many, and I wouldn't be surprised to see these get really close to 50-50. Both are beautiful, coupe and convertible. And here's just some other things. I know everybody likes to see some of this data. you know, the chassis, the FE for Z51, a kinetic ride, the top chassis we have is #1. A lot of people getting optional brake colors. Of course, the exhausts, the performance exhaust system. Front lift, about 60%. GT2 seats are the most popular as well. And then the wheels, the carbon flash wheel was the #1 wheel for 22. Whoops, I went too far. So colors, we have torch red has been #1. Joe's favorite. It's the right red, right, Joe? We got the right red, and what is it? Even now, #1 color for Corvette. It's with the new generation, and white, Arctic white, is right behind it, and the new red mist and hypersonic gray are doing really well. The blues do well. So anyway, all the colors are doing pretty good. The interiors, of course, the black and the red are the top interiors as well. And look at the seat belts. We got, you know, about 40% of the people get a non-black seat belt color. So that's really a neat way to dress up the Corvette interior. And here's one really proud of. Actually, this month, close to 50% for half the year. Actually, this month, right around 50%. So this means more people, or about as many people are buying Corvettes as every other luxury sports car combined. And that's even with, I know we hear it, you guys, we had the plants down, supplier issues, all this stuff, but it's a tough environment we're working, so we're still doing the best of everybody, and we have the best car of everybody, so it's easy to be #1 in that situation. But by this margin, I've never seen, we've been #1 for a long time, but to have half the market is really what Corvette is all about. It's like, thanks all of you who bought Corvettes, you're the ones that earn the credit. So, and then in racing, of course, we race a lot of the cars that we compete with, and we're coming off 2 great years of the first 2 years of the C8R back-to-back manufacturers champions. Is the new cast of characters we're racing against this year, a lot more crowded field than we had going to the GTD Pro class, as it's called, in IMSA. And it's been a little bit of a tougher year, you know, coming down from a higher class car, you know, there's balance of performance. Everybody's going to cry bloody murder if we start winning every race going into the other class. But we had some big wins. Sebring is one. That was a great win. Winning over in Italy at Monza. First time we raced there, that was pretty cool. So overall, a good season, but obviously it's been a lot more competitive with the new rules and things like that. But it's great to be global. Anybody that watched Le Mans knows that we had a great chance up to some unfortunate incidents. But like Doug Feehan says, you know, 50% preparation and 50% luck, or whatever he says. But the luck kind of got us this year. Oh, so hey, let me show this video on 06 Track to Street performance.
The Z06 is so far the closest that I've ever seen a real street car get to a race car.
Technology transfer when it comes to Corvette racing is not just a marketing slogan. The production team and the race team share parts, they develop cars together, they share test facilities. It's for real, it's how we work together every day.
Racing is the ultimate test on the vehicle. That's when you really learn a lot about how well you design the car aerodynamically, how well you set up the suspension, all of the mechanical bits that matter. That information gets fed back to production.
People may think that racing is chaotic, but realistically you have one track with 1 or 2 drivers and very well-known tires, so you can pull out of the car data and conclusions that may be very difficult to get when you're driving on a public road.
Probably our best example of tech transfer on the current C8R is the engine. It's been in the race car since we launched it in 2020. We've had 2 full years of racing hard miles on that engine, which means the LT6 that'll be in the production Z06 will be an even better version of what we found in the racing car.
Having worked with Corvette racing now for many years and seeing the work between the racing engineering side and the production car engineering side, this is these two groups basically working closer together than ever before. That line of being a comfortable everyday car blurs with a fast performance car.
Race cars have different requirements that they need to meet than the production car. And in some cases, they're a little simpler because a production car needs to work in all different temperatures, including cold, as well as meet all the emissions requirements and all of the other government regulations that we have.
It is surprising to some that the road car would have upwards of 150 more horsepower than the race car.
Our technology transfer with the race team has always been that the race car is better because of the production car, and then the production car gets better because of the race car.
So it's a constant cycle of back and forth, and ultimately at the end, you end up with a fantastic race car that's capable of winning, and you end up with a street car that is also phenomenal and capable of beating the competition on the street.
You are able to drive the car from home here to the racetrack, have fun with it on the racetrack, and then drive it home.
So we have, this is one of our newer videos. If you go to chevy.com/Z06, there's a bunch of videos we've put out on the Z06, so it's a great resource to learn more about the development. If you got more interest, definitely check that out. So I've been showing this for a while. This is like the Z06 has been talked about, for over about 3 years now. Even before we announced we were doing a Z06 off this architecture, but still says 25 cars worth waiting for, so it's definitely worth waiting for. But let's talk about where the Z06 came from. Z06 has a long history. 60 years ago, Zora Arkastanov came up with the Z06 code. It was really if you knew what if you knew what you're doing, you want to do the track. This was like kind of a secret RPO you could order to get the ultimate track Corvette back then, and only 199 cars were built. In 2001, we had this idea to combine with the fifth generation, the hardtop body style, which was the lightest and stiffest, and make a high-performance model. And we brought that moniker back in 2001, and that model became really popular for the purist Corvette, and really became known for, if you wanted the closest thing to the race car, that's the street car that was the closest. And we really, over the years, have tried to, like you saw in the video, push that connection between the motorsports and the production car. So the sixth generation car, 2006, the 7-liter 427, 505 horsepower, aluminum frame, carbon fiber body components, really set the bar even higher. And then we realized, again, we learned a lot coming to these events, talking to you. So many people wanted a Z06, but they're like, I don't want just a hard top. I might want a coupe with a removable roof or a convertible. I want my choice of transmission and things like that. So we expanded that even further with the 7th generation while upping the performance to 650 horsepower with a supercharged 6.2 engine. So we've really, Z06 is really now the heart and soul of Corvette. So for 2023, let's talk about a little bit of 23. This is really the most difference exterior that we've had on the Z06. So the fenders, the quarters, both fascias, the AERO, rocker, splitter, spoiler are all unique from the Stingray for 23. And again, we have the coupe and we have the convertible models. The wheels are up an inch in diameter, 20s in the front, 21s in the back. Huge tires, 275 in the front, 345 in the rear, 21 by 13 inch rear wheels, largest wheel and tires we've ever had. And then if you want to go even further, the Z07 performance package, and that is capable of incredible performance, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, quarter mile in 10.6, and a credible 1.22 max Gs. I know Tom knows about max Gs. That's his favorite stat, I think. So racing technology from the street to the street has really been the formula that makes the 06 great. I got some other key features. The carbon aero package features the wing, ground effects, dive planes, and that's available as a separate with or without the Z07 option. Of course, the engine, I'm going to talk about that some more. 5.45 liter dual overhead cam, highest naturally aspirated horsepower V8 ever in production, and I think we're going to keep that record probably forever, because not too many people are making naturally aspirated V8s anymore. But 670 horsepower. We did a unique exhaust system for it with a center exhaust, quad exhaust outlet. Special wheels, both aluminum and carbon fiber, first time on Corvette. Special tires, including the Cup 2Rs, which is really the closest thing to a street legal racing tire you can have. And 2 brake systems as well. The standard brakes are large, 6-piston front, 4-piston rear, and then carbon ceramic brakes, 15.7 inches in the front, largest brake system we've ever had for Corvette. So the heart of the engine, like I talked about, is the 670 horsepower, dual overhead cam, flat plane crank. Red line is 8,600. This is, if you're used to cruising around in your small block, around 1,000, this is not the engine that you want. This one up on your RPMs, and you can hear it. You've been starting it for people. The low inertial with the flat plane crank really helps the engine accelerate quickly, change RPMs quickly, and it's relatively lightweight. It's actually, even though it's 4 cams and 32 valves, it's only 1 kilogram heavier than the Stingray engine, and it's actually 14 kilograms lighter than the previous Z06 engine. And this is what I was talking about with the flat plane crank. The unique firing order really enables that fast acceleration and gives it that unique sound character that we love. And it's racetrack proven, so it was really hidden in plain sight. We've been racing this engine for 2.5 years now in front of everybody, and a lot of people are wondering what's going on with that, but that was really to prove it was great to say that this engine, before it hits production, has been proven on the racetrack. The only difference is this engine is 150 horsepower more than the engine we use in racing due to, those cars have to really much breathe through a little tiny straw so that we're competitive. And again, engine built in DYNO, the engine's going to be built right here in Bowling Green, right in the factory with your car. And Kai Spandy, from our plant manager, announced yesterday in his presentation that we expect to have the build your own engine program back around the second quarter next year. So I know a lot of people, anybody who's done that, it's like really an experience of a lifetime to get to build your own engines. It's going to be a little more work this time with twice as many valves and 4 times as many cams, but I think you're up to the challenge. I really do. And then, of course, we have to cool it. Everybody's like, what are you going to do to cool this engine? So we actually added 2 more radiators above what we have on the Stingray with Z51, so 5 total, including a new front center one, which is the most noticeable in the front, and now we have 2 full radiators in the rear. And we really tested this car to run at track, at 10/10 track capability at 100 degrees ambient temperature with the air conditioning on. So good news for Spring Mountain, because it's hot there. And then there's actually, for track use, you remove the center front plate bracket there, and it gets you want to do that for track use to get the full capacity. Here's our exhaust team. See, very enthusiastic about their jobs. That's always fun to show. But they really worked hard to do this new exhaust. Originally, it's kind of an inside story, but originally we were going to use a similar exhaust that we have for the Stingray, and we tested it. It's good. And actually, we're using that for our export due to some of their regulations, and it does sound very good. But one of the engineers, you know, they were doing during the, you know, the pandemic time, we had a little bit of delay. They put this system together with the center exhaust, and it was just, we were just over the moon with that. And we said, we can take advantage, instead of just delay, let's take advantage of that and put that in the car, and it's just awesome. One of the advantages of it too, it has what they call parabolic reflection. So what it does in the exhaust, there's actually parabolas that reflect the sound back. You know, all these sound engineers are used to making the car quieter. We went the other way, so we want to make sure the driver can hear it. So it actually reflects it back to the driver as you're driving. That's part of the reason why it sounds so great. And then chassis, we actually have two different chassis. All the Z06s are fully track capable, so don't worry about that. But we have the two levels. The FE6 is standard, the Z07 we call FE7. A little firmer spring rates, maybe a lot firmer spring rates, but so they're both track capable. If you're doing more street driving, probably recommend the standard. If you're all into track, then definitely go with the Z07. And front lift system, it's a great system. Probably more important on the Z06 if you get that carbon fiber front splitter. So that's available with either package. And then here's the brake systems we talked about. Monoblock calipers, 6-piston front, 4-pistons rear standard, very large brakes, and then the ultimate ceramic brakes. Comes with the Z07, but available on any of the Z06s. You can see the silver car out there is an example of a car with the optional ceramic brakes, and really the ultimate brake system. And we actually have added some new color options to the calipers. If you get the ceramic, we have the gray, and we have a new orange color as well. And here's our aluminum wheel lineup. We have almost all of them. I was pointed out I didn't have all of the wheels, but we have almost all of them. I think we're missing the standard Titan satin one, but check out the cars outside. You can see all the different finishes of our aluminum wheel. Plus we have a new accessory, Tech Bronze. The Anniversary gets the red stripe wheel, and we have the silver car. A lot of people like that one with the machine polished. And then carbon fiber wheels, we can get that either with the visible carbon or the painted carbon flash. Originally, it was available only with the Z07 package, but we're able to do some testing, and actually any Corvette with ceramic brakes, you can now order those carbon wheels. And Mr. Elegant is very happy about that one. And this one, you too. Or you're asking a question? Yeah, let me go back, hold on. So a big part of the a big part of the carbon fiber wheels is it saves 41 pounds or 18.5 kilograms of unsprung mass. And you can actually feel that when you're driving it. The car changes direction that much quicker. And so when we tested that, that's coupled with the ceramic brake system, which is a lighter brake system as well. So that was calibrated to go together. I mean, is it possible? It is, but we haven't released that package yet or validated that package. So that's why it does still require the ceramic brakes with the carbon wheels. All the chassis, it has its own, those wheels drive its own unique chassis calibration and magnetic ride calibration that go with it. And so that's why it has to have the ceramic brakes. If it was up to me, I'd offer everything. But I got people that tell me what I'm allowed to offer, so. These guys, they know that. So, okay, so tires, we got two types of tires. The PS4S tire, which is a great both track capable and street all-around tire, good for both. If you want the ultimate though, it's that Cup 2R that generates that 1.22 Gs. But it is more purposeful for track only. So if you're going to do a lot of street driving, I'd probably recommend going with the PS4S. And aerodynamics is always a big part of what we do with Corvette. And here's an example of what they call ride mapping in the wind tunnel. And so what they've done is they copied the attitude of the car would see on the racetrack, and are able to see how the wind affects the car on different aggressive track driving to develop the aerodynamic package. So the standard Z06 actually comes with, standard from the factory, 2 different configurations, a street and a track configurations, and you will get the parts standard in the car to do both. So the standard configuration is very balanced, as well as you see here. And then if you add to the track configuration, let me go back and forth so you can see. You look at the rear spoiler, it adds taller, what we call wickers on the rear. And also, we remove the stall gurney for track use, and then remove the aero cover off of the front. So what that does, it basically gets you up to 362 pounds of downforce. So the standard car can go up to, that's really an incredible amount that you can get just by making those slight changes. And it's over 100 pounds more than the Z51 Stingray, which is already pretty good for downforce. Again, it's standard. That's the benefit of it. It's standard. You don't have to order any option code. It comes. It's almost like free. But you have to buy the car, and then you get it for free. But it's really like 2 cars in one, you know, the standard aero package. So. Oh wait, I went too far. Sorry. Whoop. So the optional carbon aero, what you see on some of the cars up here with the large, easily spotted by the large carbon fiber wing on the rear, and then you have the larger front splitter and the dive planes in the front. This is really the ultimate track package, 734 pounds of downforce at 186 miles an hour. This is actually the highest, or the most downforce we've had ever on Corvette, actually beating the 2019 ZR1, which had the previous record for downforce for Corvette. So that'll give you the ultimate lap times. And so here's a summary. If you compare, you know, Z51 on the Stingray, 252, the standard Z06, don't have to order anything. You just have to change your configuration. Again, for street driving, you know, you could leave that off. It's more of a neutral car, lower drag, you know, fine for the street. But if you go to the track, you definitely want to up it to the 360 pounds, and then 734 with the carbon aero package. So a lot of track development was done on this car, obviously. Look, over 80 hours, and all these different tracks around the country, and even over at the Nürburgring, that were done by our development team to make sure the car is great on the track. Here's our first chassis dyno test back in March of 2018, so that was quite a while ago. You can see the car's actually in a Stingray right there. Here's the first really aggressive drive in anger, we call it, at Black Lake. That's at Milford back in August of 2019. And then the road course drive, the Milford road course. And then we do a lot of development trips for on-ride driving, like high altitude in Colorado. Get some scenic views here. And this is their job. They just drive it around in Colorado. But, you know, it's important to test the car at high altitude, including Loveland Pass. Anybody been to Loveland Pass? That's me too. And then one of our final tuning trips we did was actually in Ohio. Actually, when you get to like southeast Ohio towards West Virginia and that area, there's really a lot of good roads out that way a lot of people don't know about. So we went out there. They had this big digger exhibit there. We were all masked up still because that was the rules. But that was kind of our final chance to make any big changes to the car. And you see, first time we took the tops down and everything, even in full camo on a convertible. And then just as recently in Arizona was what we call our final buy-off out in the desert there, driving around Arizona. And so we also did a 24-hour track test. This has been kind of a Corvette tradition for quite a while in April. And I make sure the car is good for 24 hours of track use. And he's calculated 6,800 brake applies and 765 laps and 40 tanks of fuel. And so here's our competitors. We've announced our pricing. It starts with the destination 106,395, and I'm not going to lie, it's not inexpensive. You know, as you know, it's for Corvette. However, when you start looking at what cars in its class, there's nothing that really can compete with Corvette, even forgetting the price. But with the price, you look at cars like the McLaren, the Ferraris, Porsche GT3, Lamborghinis. You know, there's really nothing that competes to where Corvette is, and that's why we have 50% market share, I would guess. But wait, there's more. So if you missed it, for Stingray, we got some Stingrays out here. We have some new wheels for 23, the 20-spoke wheels, which are available in black, machined, or the red stripe, and then we have a Tech Bronze accessory. Heard a lot of positive comments. The black exhaust tips, that's for both Z06 and Stingray option. A lot of people like to match the wheels with that or trim. We also have a stealth aluminum trim option a lot of times that looks good with the carbon fiber. If you don't want the real bright aluminum inside, it tones that down to a darker value. And then if you love red, like some people love torch red, you can see the car we have a adrenaline red dipped interior. It gives you the most red for your money that you can have. And then also, we're going to talk about the 70th anniversary in a second, but Z06 has some unique carbon fiber things also. The carbon fiber steering wheel and paddles, that comes with 3LZ, and some people cannot live without that we know. But no, that's a great looking steering wheel, and it really is unique to Z06, and I've heard from a lot of people. We also have a new carbon fiber level 2 interior package. Again, so design guys I work with, like Kirk Benyon, and designers we work with, they say, we're not going to stop putting carbon fiber in cars. Nobody's told us to stop yet. So this is the ultimate for the interior. The whole console is, most of the console is carbon fiber. The door inserts that goes into the instrument panel. And we have a few cars with that option on display outside also. There's also Z06, even when you start the car, there's a new welcome. This is what greets you when you start it up. When you get inside, the welcome animation for Z06, highlighting the special engine. And let me talk about the 70th anniversary. So Corvette, you know, we've had a lot of anniversaries. 70th, of course, is special. The Corvette is the longest running car nameplate in the world, so we're very proud of that. And so we wanted to have a special edition that was worthy of that. And so we really decided, I think it's the first time we've done that, to have two colors instead of one. But they're opposite sides. We have basically a white metallic tri-coat, pearl white, which is the first time we've offered a tri-coat. And then we have the carbon flash, which is a black metallic, which both work well on this car. And they're available with these specific stripe packages that are designed for these colors and only available this way. If you're not a stripe person, just don't order them. You don't have to. I've had that question. If you don't like stripes, however, most people I think like them. And here's the Stingray in the pearl white. And then again, just go out. It's better to see them in real life outside. Some of the details, though, of course, both we have red stripe wheels for both Stingray and Z06, a special badging, 70th package, also unique luggage. It comes with, what do you do under the hood? Well, there's luggage under the hood. The engine's in the back. So we have special luggage for the 70th anniversary. Although every 2023 Corvette gets a unique interior plaque and a window etching in the rear window for the 70th anniversary. So we always like to do, if you're not getting the special edition, all the Corvettes celebrate that this year. And here's that interior. Something about this is the ceramic white leather with red stitching and red belts, red accents. And check out this car. This is the GT2 seat version, but we have both. So if you get the comp sport version, I've talked to some people that like that better, it flips the colors. So the black is in the inside and the ceramic white is on the outside. So whichever one you like better, there's two different looks with the same colors that you can choose. And again, we have these cars out there, so it's probably better to see them in real life, but they are beautiful. And finally, in case you missed it, a lot of people saw this, but the first Z06 that we're going to build, and we're getting closer, went for $3.6 million in the auction at Barrett-Jackson, and all the proceeds, all the full amount goes to Operation Homefront, which takes care of military families. So it's a great charity and a great cause. And actually, the first one will not, we had this yellow one as an example. The first one will be one very much like the one outside, the Pearl White 70th anniversary. I'm sorry, the Carbon Flash will be the first one. I think the Pearl White's the second one. And then, not to be outdone, the first convertible was auctioned off in Palm Beach, and that went for $1 million. And that's going, all the proceeds for that are going to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, another great cause as well. So very proud that what Chevrolet, Corvette, we can contribute to what Chevrolet is doing a lot to help these charities and causes. So thank you. Maybe there might be a question or two on something.
Harlan, over here. First off, thank you to you, the team, the assembly folks. Incredible job in these circumstances, just incredible. So thank you for that. Secondly, as we talked about outside, there has been a lot of chatting about this new thing in the automotive industry with subscriptions for features that in some cases may have previously been standard. I know GM's announced something for many of their vehicles with OnStar. Just looking for any comments you'd care to share on that.
Yeah, nice setup in the beginning, so thank you. But yeah, it's a tough situation in the whole industry, and actually, I know we're closest to Corvette, and we feel things to Corvette, and we're doing our best, but it is a challenging time. You can see it even with the issues we've had. We managed to be number one, and we're going to continue to. Obviously, nobody wants to build more cars than everybody else on the team. You know, we're the plan is chomping at the bit, obviously, to do that. But we need parts. We have suppliers. We have to get them, and so we're going to do our best. Please be patient, I guess. Be patient with us. It's not that we're not trying, and it's just we are trying very hard, and we're going to deal with these issues. And I think we've done pretty good overall. Obviously, when people ask these questions, we talked about this. It's not really that you care how many we build. You want to know if we're building yours. It's nice to be, the groups, but come and once you get yours, everything's going to be great. So promise me, it's a great car. Once you have your car, you're going to love it, and just trust that we're doing our best to get through the constraints and supply issues. We're a big company. We got big teams working on it, and we're going to get through this. It's not going to be like this forever. But it will be like this for a little while. Thanks. Yes.
I do have a question. I've got a Yukon in transit, a 2020, or not a Yukon, a Tahoe, and OnStar I'm being charged $1,500 for a 3-year subscription to OnStar against my choice. Are the 23 Corvettes going to have the same package?
No, Chevrolet. It's not just Corvette. Across Chevrolet, we're doing. They make Buick and GMC. I think Buick and GMC are doing that. We're doing a $300 package, which is for the app that for 3 years. you know, if you've used it, it's a great feature. It unlocks the doors. You can start your car with the app. You can track it, see where, if you gave it to somebody, you can see where it is, but don't give it to anybody. But anyway, it's a great, so that'll be starting across all Chevrolet, not just Corvette. It'll be 300.
Why do you have to do that? All the other GPS systems in the world, you can get renewed anytime you want to, and it doesn't cost you anything. Why does it cost $99 every couple of years to upgrade your GPS?
I gotta fund my retirement somehow. I really need the money. It's all going straight to me, so thank you. Actually, kidding aside, it's you know, we have these great features. I think again, it's a more of a corporate decision. You know, for Chevrolet, we want people to experience them and enjoy them. So I think they see it as an advantage that we have versus some of the other cars, and it's a way to get it everybody experience them and having them. It's kind of like your cable, whatever. Here, try this channel for a little while, and then you're going to love it. So it's just a, you know, way we do, you know, we're going to see more of this type of things where we're taking advantage of these systems that we have built into the car and letting people have exposure to them. I think you're next.
So I know one of the objectives of the C8 was to involve the next generation of owners and maybe even the next generation after that. So what kind of demographics can you share with us about the people who have bought the C8?
Oh, it's a great question. So you're absolutely right. The 8th generation Corvette going to mid-engine has really brought in a new group of customers. They're not only new to Corvette, they're ones that haven't never even bought American cars before. And we're seeing that. And actually, at Corvettes at Carlisle, which is a bigger crowd last, you started to see a transition. Of course, we get our loyal customers like yourself that we love, but they're starting to see a younger group, new generation. And for a lot of people, you know, everybody has that moment the first time they saw a Corvette. So depending what generation you are, it might have been that split window, 63. Maybe for someone like me, I remember the 4th gen, the 84. It was like when I thought, I have to have a Corvette. So we're seeing that with this new car, this broke the mold from previous generations, going with the new mid-engine design. And you talk to a lot of the younger people, they're like, this is a Corvette. They've always liked Corvettes, but they're like, well, those were my dad's cars. They're saying, like, this is my car now. This is a generation for me. But the great news about it, and the thing that I'm really proud of, is what we've done. We've done a Corvette that not only attracted the new generation, but the loyal, faithful. We tried to keep everything that people love about Corvette, even though we went to a mid-engine design, to make the car usable, attainable, fun to drive, and we added all the engines, the things that people love about Corvette. And it's really a car. I think the Corvette is really a car nobody else in the world could build this car. A car that combines all the attributes of Corvette over the years, plus mid-engine exotic supercar attributes in a package that's attainable. And the numbers, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the numbers are showing we used to be like the oldest in our segment. We're like right at the average now, basically, for the luxury sports car segment. And you're just seeing kind of and even, I've talked to a lot of people too that at some of these clubs, I think the good news for the hobby is, yeah, maybe they're somebody younger in their 20s or 30, they can't, ready to buy a new Corvette yet, but they because of the new Corvette, they become interested, and maybe they're buying like a used C5 or C6 generation Corvette, and they just become interested in Corvettes. And you even see it when you're driving these around, the kids and everything, waving it. This is really, I think, great news for Corvette and the Corvette Museum and the hobby in general, that we were able to really transform Corvette in a way that everybody's really excited about. So that's one of the things I'm the most proud about working on this team. Yeah.
Harlan, with all the advances in the new car, I haven't heard much about the performance data recorder. Is that still available as a package in the 8?
Yeah, that's a great question on the performance data recorder. I mean, we introduced that in 2015. Corvette, and it still really hasn't been matched as a fully integrated video recording system that you can go back and look at your track results or your on-road results. And we did a new generation of that for the 8th generation Corvette, new Cosworth toolbox with data that you can become your own race engineer. And that it's included on any Corvette 2LT, 3LT, or Z06, 2LZ, 3LZ, and it's optional on the one. So it's still extremely popular, you know, on most of the Corvettes. And we're going to continue that. I think it's a competitive advantage we have, even today, even though it's been out, what, like 8 years now. I don't think anybody has as fully integrated system as we do. And I'm very proud of that one as well. So, good question.
Harlan, can you give us an update on the build price for the Z06?
The
Build price?
build price?
Build, you know, on the Chevrolet website.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you to build your own where you check? Yeah. So we're working on that. Unfortunately, with the standard Chevrolet process, we're going to try to do something new in the future going forward. So, you know, they're used to like, oh, SORP, you know, get it out there, you know, a few weeks after, because people are going to go to the dealer and pick their car out. That's not what we do. You guys are ordering way before SORP, you know, and you want to know everything. So we're working on that. Right now, it looks like it's about another month away from being out there. It's really, I was saying we're going to be probably sold out before it gets out there, unfortunately. But we're working on that process to get better. We're working on a specific Corvette process to get it out right, you know, right when the new car is announced. You know, each model year as we announce new cars. So we do have the visualizer. The visualizer was a big step forward, getting that at least out early. It doesn't have the pricing, but at least so people could see that. We started that in 2020 as a big step forward to have that available on the day it was announced. And what happened? So many people loved it. It crashed instantly. So, you know, broke the web servers and everything. Actually, if you haven't been on there in the last couple of days, they just did an upgrade again to help it from still crashing a lot, help it from crashing as much. So many people are out there building their dream cars. So it's a great question. Still a little bit away, unfortunately, but that's on our to-do list, make that whole experience a lot better.
Thank you. I think you can hear me. Do you have an idea of what your production quantity is going to be?
Do we have an idea of what our production quantities would be? Probably not, to be honest. Our idea is to try to do as many as we can. It's going to be kind of like we were talking about before with Mr. Fuller's question. We're going to do the best we can. Obviously, we want to do more, so I would not even dare state a production quantity at this time. But whatever you read online, it's not true. It's definitely going to be different than anything you read.
Chrome wheels are coming back.
Chrome wheels are not coming back. That I can tell you.
Do you know what the engine build price is going to be this time?
Do I know what the engine build price is going to be? It's not fine. I mean, when we had done it previously, it was a $5,000 price. That's what I'm suggesting it is, but other people may want more money than me. So it'll be in that range. It'd be there or close to that, I would guess. Maybe some tax. I don't know.
Is GM doing anything about the dealers charging so much more than MSRP is? There's one dealer just advertised $90,000 over MSRP price for a Z06.
Yeah, but okay, so the thing was about the dealer that was charging $90,000. They have since come back and got back to MSRP. Because between we've been talking to them, it was an internet backlash. That's one of the good things about the internet. You know, a lot of going on. So There's been some, legally, obviously, you know, it's a free market economy. People can do what they want, but we start to feel that it starts to hurt our customers and our brand when people go too far. So we're using that avenue the best we can. But ultimately, it's a free market. But we're doing whatever we can to try to discourage that, obviously. And this is one example, the one you brought up, that it was successful. We actually got them to go back to MSRP from the huge markup. And that's really what we want to do, because, you know, we really want a lot of these things that have been done. I mean, maybe we're trying to solve something that's very hard to solve, but it's all done. We want the people like yourselves that love Corvette, that want to drive the Corvette, to own the Corvette, that want to keep it and own it, to get the Corvettes. We don't want the people that are just buying it to make a quick dollar and flip it over or whatever. We want to try to discourage that the best we can. Obviously, you can only do so much, and we're doing whatever we can try. And we cannot take people's allocation. We don't have the power to do that. No, unfortunately, no. Because and there's all kinds of rules. Dealers, I don't want to go into it. It goes back to like the 1930s and it goes so long, the dealer agreements and things. So, yeah, back there again. Uh-oh. Yeah, that just came out. It's 6 months, and this is to avoid the flipping. It's kind of a pro and con. There's the warranty thing you mentioned. The warranty is not transferable if you sell it within 6 months. Again, we want people that want to keep the car. The other side of it is, if you do keep it for 6 months, you get the equivalent of $5,000 worth of GM reward points. So basically, we're paying you to keep your Corvette Z06 for 6 months. So hopefully that balances that out. Mr. Wallace, you can't fire me anymore. Finally, I got the last word.
That joke goes way back.
He used to say, if I don't fire you every day, you're fired, because that means you're not trying hard enough.
Oh, hey, in Kai's presentation yesterday, there was a comment that I didn't quite understand. He said he thought that the preliminary Z06 orders, 80% of them had Z07 checked. Does that sound right?
I didn't see
Is Kai here?
It sounds that could be right. I think he said load it up. It's probably meant 3LZ, maybe. Did you do that, Rachel? I don't know.
Is Kai here?
Kai. Kai's here.
The intent of the comment was that they are very, very, very highly loaded option content. 3LZ, lots of options.
Okay.
Which means that what we refer to that as like a very rich mix.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that makes sense. That makes total
okay,
sense.
great.
About
Thanks for
80%
that.
would be
Thank you, Kai.
3LZ, yep.
And is that consistent with what you saw with like 1901?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Corvette in general, like Kai mentioned, the rich mix, we actually plan for that. You know, the early buyers, early adopters are more likely to, check more boxes, get more options, to be honest. So we usually plan for that with our production. We try to, with our production and our suppliers and everything. It's part of our plan. We anticipate that. And then, as the car gets in a few years and it starts to level off, and you even see that a little bit with Stingray. Stingray 3LT was the most popular for so long. Now, for the first time just recently on a coupe, 2LT passed 3LT. Convertible, it's still mostly 3LT, but you start to see that over time. It starts to level off a little bit, but no, it's just a stat to show you. Of course, if you're getting a Z06, especially one of the early ones, a lot of people want all the great things that it offers, for sure. Some people think they may not, and then they decide later they want it again. Anyway. Okay. What time is it? Any more? One more question. Guys, somebody asked me one more good one.
Okay. The first allocations came out, and there seemed to be that didn't roll out really successfully. Do you have any comment? Did everything on your end, everything go okay with those allocations? Was there a hiccup? What happened on the Z06 allocations just came out here recently?
What happened with the Z06 allocation?
Yeah, that's my question.
Well, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Sometimes the only thing that might be a little strange, remember the first round, it's pretty limited allocations, and some of that is certain orders, like we're doing the auction cars and the early VIN numbers that people picked. So it may go in different order than people may expect because of that. Like if somebody orders an early number, say, I don't know, 6, for example, it may go to a smaller dealer than would normally get the first allocation. It's things like that. So the first round, maybe people are reacting to that. In today's age, there's so much information. We've talked about this. There's so much stuff online that nobody saw before that people really don't know what they're looking at, and they're like trying to figure things out. And sometimes you just got to just let it go. Just let it happen. Don't try to figure out what can't be figured out. As long as you get, again, once you get yours, it'll be all over. Everybody will be happy. It's so true. Trust, I know. But that's a good one. That's a good question. All right. Hey, well, we here. We got our team from Bowling Green here, been around the cars, and if you guys want to look at more cars, you want to ask us some more questions one-on-one, be here today and most of tomorrow. And we're just so thankful to be here and to see everybody in real life and to show these beautiful cars. So I want to thank all of you for being Corvette enthusiasts and supporting the National Corvette Museum. I'm also on the board, so it's a double whammy for me. So really appreciate everyone for coming, especially some of the Hall of Famers that are here. Who's in the Hall of Fame? For coming. Actually, we have 22 Hall of Famers that are going to be present, I think, for tonight's induct that came to the museum. So that's pretty out of the 44 living Hall of Famers. So it's about half. So that's pretty incredible. So thank you for coming, Tom and Joe and everybody. It's great to see you guys, and thanks for all you've done for Corvette. And really appreciate being here. Thank you.